All right, this is part 1 of 3 parts of what the resurrection of Christ proves. I'm going to whip out my notes. Let's go. The resurrection of Christ proves that sin is defeated and death is conquered. Romans 6:9 says, knowing that Christ, having been raised from the dead, dies no more, death no longer has dominion over him. We are separated from him because of sin, and the penalty of sin is death. This is why the enemy works so hard in the kingdom of darkness. When Adam and Eve sinned, they were being disobedient to God. That sin, that disobedience, led to separation from God, which then led to Satan having significant influence in this world over worldly affairs. It was the beginning of humanity's separation from God. They opened a door that should have never been opened. Satan came through that door and gained a foothold to begin exercising power over God's creation. We must understand that people were afraid of death, and still to this day, and many will do anything to try to avoid it. They were talking, walking, and living in a spirit of fear, of death. I do not believe that we were ever meant to die, which would explain why death was feared and is feared among many people. But we know that God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of sound mind. When Satan would entice people to sin, leading them to death, that gave him power, or at least a false sense of power. He uses deception, fear, and separation from God as a weapon, as a trap, because he knows that sin and death create a legal claim over us in the courts of heaven. This is why he is referred to as the heavenly accuser, the instigator. He uses sin as a weapon against us. His claim in the spiritual realm is, God, they sinned, so that gives me legal right. This is where spiritual oppression comes from. Stagnation, lack, poverty, demonization, depression, anxiety, fear, rejection, addiction, mental torment, spiritual spouses, repeated failures, demons of lust. We wonder why everything keeps going wrong in life, why money is always tied up, why every friendship or relationship has failed. Even business ideas that have been birthed have failed. Somewhere, somehow, you may have opened a spiritual door and gave the enemy legal rights to your home, your life, your body, and your soul. Demons sit in the soul, which is your mind, your will, and your emotions. By nature, demons are destructive. They torture and harass for fun, for kicks and giggles. They enslave, entice, defile, compel, and deceive. And know that demons operate in gangs. They bring more than one with them. A big weapon that the enemy uses is unforgiveness. He comes in, he stirs up a lot of trouble, leaving our souls scarred or traumatized, which then weakens our faith and holds us captive in bondage with seeds of bitterness, anger, and or unforgiveness. But Christ has given us power and authority over all the power of the enemy. We must use it to break the legal rights the kingdom of darkness has over our bloodlines, over our children, over our marriages, our spirits, our bodies, our finances, our lives. We must proclaim and declare the victory that Christ has freely given us over the enemy.